Okay, here we are today with a bunch of cool stuff, courtesy of the guys over at Containment Crew. Now, if you'll remember, I've done videos with those guys in the past, and they've been up to a lot since then. So, what they did is they went and decided, you know what, Nerf is so much fun, let's do it as a business. And so they've gotten themselves into the 3D printed Nerf accessories game. Now, besides just doing that and coming up with their own stuff, they have also partnered with some of the biggest names in the Nerf aftermarket parts industry, as it were. So they've partnered with SlyDev, which is the really big 3D printed Nerf accessories guy out of Australia. So that way, if you want any of SlyDev's stuff and you're in the US, you don't want to pay for shipping from Australia, you don't want to wait for it to get here from Australia, you can just go on to containmentcrew.com and order straight from them. And that saves you, you can get it right here in the US. Also, as far as extending the kinds of stuff they offer, they've partnered with BlasterParts from Germany. And BlasterParts, you know, known for their improvement kits and springs for any Nerf blaster you can think of, pretty much, that uses a spring. BlasterParts has a spring for it, and you can find all that on containmentcrew.com. I'll have the link up here on the screen and down in the description. So you can find all that. Also, the tactical gear that BlasterParts offers, you can find that on the website as well. So that way you don't have to wait for it to show up from Germany and pay the shipping from Germany. So cool and convenient. But all right, let's dive right in and check out these sampling of goodies they sent me. So here we go. Start off with some SlyDev stuff first. And as you can see here, got ourselves some rail adapters. And so Nerf rails are cool and all, but there are way more accessories out there if you want to go into the airsoft scene. And so what these do is they hook onto, this bit would hook onto your, well, I've already got something on this Nerf rail, but this end hooks onto the Nerf rail and then gives you on the top, you've got the standard rail type for airsoft or real steel accessories, and they've got a few different types. And these are just sample, they come in lengths down to this small, or you can get them in much longer if you're looking for that to go down the whole, your whole Nerf rail. And so these are the ones that mount directly to a Nerf rail, and they've got these in, these are the standard. They also have them mounted for 45-degree angle off the side. And if you don't want it to, if instead of mounting onto the existing Nerf rail, if you want to just glue it straight to your blaster, they have ones that have the flat bottoms for that as well. So lots of stuff there in the SlyDev section for that. Moving on over, we've got these. There's a couple examples of iron sights, and you can see they are different heights because those are two parts of a kit that I've got the rest of it installed on this retaliator here. So you can see you've got the back bit and then one of the other fronts, and come in different heights, so that way you can figure out the one that works best, gets you zeroed in appropriately, and use that one. And then if you decide you want a different zeroing, you can just swap out the different front pieces. And that's, again, this is only one style of the iron sights that they offer. There's a few different ones. Definitely want to go, if you're interested in that kind of thing, go check out the different iron sight offerings they have. This guy, pretty familiar to those that do film stuff, as this is a standard GoPro accessory mounting bit, and that's designed to go right onto your Nerf rail to securely hold your GoPro right onto the Nerf rail. And besides GoPro ones, they also have mounts for your standard camera mounts as well. So whatever sort of camera you got, you can have a 3D printed thing to put it right onto your Nerf blaster. Then this guy, this is a 2 mega dart holder, and this is an example of what I was talking about back with the rails, where it's got a flat bottom, and so that way, instead of mounting onto the existing Nerf rail, you can just epoxy this onto any, Cyclone Shock's not a good example, but say you sanded that down so it was flat, and you've got flat, flat, and then you could epoxy it right there to permanently attach onto your blaster. And so that's an example. And of course, already on the Cyclone Shock itself, here is a Nerf rail extra dart holder. Now, of course, this one is megas for the Mega Blaster, but they do come in different sizes. So this is a 6. They've got smaller ones, and for the Nerf Elite size darts. They've got ones that go much bigger, or many more darts, that is, to go right onto your rails. And so lots of cool things for that as well. Definitely check that out. Oh, the piece de resistance, personally, there's lots of different cool SlyDev bits. There's a thing for the front end of a long shot to add a little bit of rail there, and I think there's one of those for the Strife as well. But for me personally, one of the coolest things, convenience-wise, that SlyDev makes, let me grab it, is this little guy. And this is a Nerf rail to Nerf rail adapter. So that way, if you want to attach, say, a rough cut as an underbarrel for, well, pretty much anything that can take a front barrel extension, there you go, without any muss or fuss modding-wise. Don't have to hack up your blasters. You have a undermounted rough cut. And then it's quite simple to just swap that out for whatever you want to throw that on. And at least with the Strife, now it doesn't work with a Retaliator, you wouldn't have clearance, you'd have to do some modding. But with the Strife, you can mount it in this configuration, and you've got the clearance for your magazine well right there. And this thing is real solid. I mean, what's bouncing around right here is the attachment there, the actual Nerf attachment onto the Strife. The SlyDev thing's not going anywhere. That's nice and solid on there. You can prime it without worrying about that. And that's really cool. So this is just one example. Think of any Nerf rail to any Nerf rail. You could slap whatever blaster onto whatever else with this piece. Really cool. Lots of possibilities. But okay. Now, don't have any blaster parts springs, and that wouldn't be good for the video anyway, because it's like, oh, this has a spring inside it. But do have Containment Crew parts. Got to show those off. Now, take your guesses. I'll come to this one last, but I'll give you time to take your guesses as to what this is and what it does. So, definitely check back at the end of the video to find out. But for now, first off, okay, you're like, wait a minute, I saw that before. That's a Mega Dart holder that goes onto Nerf rail. And you're right, but there's a key difference. This one is the Containment Crew version, and it has a thumb screw. And why does that matter? Well, if I go over to SlyDev one, really good, really solid, but say if I want to take it off the blaster or put it on, can't do it in a hurry. Well, it doesn't take too long, but in the heat of the moment, okay, you got to have a tool, you got to have a screwdriver on hand, and that means you really want to get your stuff set up ahead of time. You wouldn't want to be doing this on the fly, especially because if you're not careful with the screws, and I'm not going to destroy this one just to show you, but if you're not careful with the screws, you can over-tighten them and strip out the 3D printed parts as solid as they are, and then you've made it useless. And so Containment Crew is like, that's the one downside of 3D printed accessories like this, so how can we solve it? And how they've solved it is by printing right into it these thumb screws. And so without any tools necessary, I'll just loosen that up. Get it fit onto, there we go. Get it fit onto the rail, and then just tighten it back down. And there you go. No tools, no fuss. Got it just as secure as with the real screws, but again, much more convenient. And so you can check those out on all the Containment Crew parts. And I believe they may be coming to the SlyDev parts soon, but for the time being, can only find those on Containment Crew parts. So make sure to check out the stuff in their section. Yeah, I'll leave that. Besides things to go on your blaster, they have other accessories as well. Right here we have a belt loop mounted Nerf magazine holder, and so this will keep your mag secure and on your person while you're running around. This is a single, but it comes in a single and a double stack, and very cool. Now I'm going to show off a feature that I really like about their design of this versus some of the other ones that are out there with this guy. Whoop, as I get, I'll just move these out of the way, but with this guy. And so as you can see, another Containment Crew thing they do, where I've got my, now of course I haven't finished it yet, but so I've got a Strife that I've put 180 motors into, and when you do that, you really want to run it off of a LiPo. And instead of sacrificing and buying a smaller LiPo to fit in the stock Strife tray, to heck with that, we've got this nice massive tray extender, so I can fit a stonking huge LiPo in there, so I can run this thing all day without having to swap batteries. And also, specifically, the Containment Crew variation, you can get it, has their mag holder on it. And while that's where that really comes in handy is, oh man, I've been shooting, oh, I'm out. So I pop it out, put it up in there, and now, so that's nice and secure. That's not going anywhere. So you don't have to worry about that. But okay, now like this, so let me take this guy out and get some darts handy. So I've got my empty. Well, because how Containment Crew designed the open on the ends, you can actually reload. Again, to hold it for the camera, I'm making it not look terribly friendly, but it is pretty easy to do, where you can just reload on the fly with it secured in the holster. And obviously, that works with the belt loop ones as well. So with them, with the mags stowed and secured, you can still reload them. Very convenient for when you're on the run. You don't want to take your mag out to reload, because then if all of a sudden you gotta go, you gotta grab your blaster and run or shoot at something. In here, it's still secured. It's on your person. You're not leaving it behind. You don't have to make a choice. Even more so with the one on your blaster. So very cool, very cool. Now, as I get this out of the way, it's time. We've come to this little doodad. And this is what I really like about what Containment Crew has been doing with the 3D printed pieces. Now, obviously, you've got this weird pinkish purple color that I wanted, because I wanted purple to go with... Again, on film, it ends up coming out really pink. It's really more of a purple. But anyway, so lots of different colors, and so you can get your parts in whatever you want. But anyway, so I got this guy. And this... They just come up with cool ideas. They're thinking outside the box. And so there's this blaster you might be familiar with. It's called a Mega Big Shock. And one of the first things people seem to really like doing with this blaster when it came out was, you know what, that would make a really comfy foregrip for a lot of other blasters. You know, it's like, oh, really want to have it, you know, foregrip. Wouldn't that be great? And a lot of people set out different ways of rigging it to do that. Now, that SlyDev Nerf rail thing I showed you, it's a great piece, but oh no, there's no Nerf rail anywhere on the Big Shock. So what could you possibly do to solve this problem? Oh wait, there you go. So this piece is specifically to use the Mega Big Shock as a foregrip on your blaster. And again, demonstrating nice and easy installation with that thumb screw. Well, again, trying to do it on camera makes it harder, but... So that's my problem. I jinxed myself by saying nice and easy, and then it's like, oh, you're trying to do it on camera. But in all seriousness, it is not at all hard to do. I just like making things look hard on the internet. There you go. So that's right on there. And now you have your Big Shock foregrip. Whoop. There we go. On your, now this is on the Strife. It works very nice, but pretty much anything you want to stick it on that's got the rail in the front there. And, oh man, so I'm engaging, I'm shooting, and then something's coming over here. And I want to, you know, I want to keep shooting in front of me, but I need to take out this person off to the side. Well, pow, there you go. And then right back in, you're good to go. Just really cool. Love, I mean, you can't go wrong with that. That's all sorts of cool. And then comes right back off. Oop, didn't quite get loose up. Comes right back off to put on whatever else you want. Or for whatever reason you decided, this is neat, but I'd really want to do it with a SlyDev bit, they also make a piece that has this insert that essentially puts a Nerf rail right here. So you could get that and get the SlyDev bit if you wanted to do it that way. But I'm loving the stuff that Containment Crew's coming up with. So there you have it. ContainmentCrew.com for all your US to have it shipped easier nerfing accessory needs. And right now, they wanted me to pass along, they've got a discount going on through the end of July, and that will be this code up here on the screen, because I can't remember off the top of my head what it was, but the code will be right there, and the details will be in the description, or head on over to Containment Crew's Facebook page. I'm pretty sure that's just facebook.com/containmentcrew. Again, the link will be in the description. But there you have it. Bunch of cool stuff. Thank you again to Containment Crew for giving me all these fun toys. As always, thanks for watching.